the channel, and welcome to another installment of our book study of Stephen King's It. This time around, we've got chapters 14 and 15. And welcome with me, as always, is my trusty TA, Big Al. Say hi, Al.
Hi, Al.
And welcome, Stephen Cruz is with us here. He says, "First one, ¿Cómo estás, beaches?" Are you trying to be? Are you reading along, Stephen Cruz? Because Richie does a lot of. What was the guy he's imitating? Pancho. The we don't need no stinking batches. That guy, he does a lot in these chapters. What's the guy's name? I forget that he imitates. Do you remember, Al?
Well, the stinking. What you said, Pancho, and I can't think of anything but Pancho Villa.
Yeah, it's not that, is it? Yeah, I forget the name. Welcome to Casey Scott, Muhammad. Welcome, Melissa Harris. Great to have everybody with us. We'll just banter for a bit.
But I know it's
people come in.
But I know it's from Treasure of Sierra Madre. Then later, parodied in Blazing Saddles.
Mm-hmm. Parodied everywhere, really. I mean,
yeah. And then, of course, UHF took it to a new level.
Mm-hmm.
Badgers,
yeah.
Badgers
with Cheech Marin, right? Wasn't that him?
No, it was some other guy whose name I cannot recall.
Oh, I need to watch UHF again.
It wasn't Cheech.
I thought it was Cheech Marin, but
nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Alrighty. So, welcome, Froglick von Happenstance, half asleep, and here I am listening to folks talking about the killer clown going to town all over a bunch of hapless kids. Well, good dream fodder for you, Froglick. It's what else do you need? So there you go. Yeah, these are two really cool chapters too. I'm really excited about delving into these, but just letting some people see that the stream is up and pile on in as they will. And we'll see how it goes. Sometimes I don't have to take the stream down and edit it and put it back up. Sometimes I do, but we'll see how this one goes. I may or may not, but I'll definitely, if I do take it down, I'll put it back up and put it in the book study playlist. I need to get better about my playlist. I know Troy keeps reminding me to put together a Saturday night rewatch playlist, which I need to do too. But just a matter of sitting down, and doing it.
Like, you mean separating everything out? Separating everything into a different list and stuff. Oh, am I gone again? Damn it.
Oh, you're back now. Okay. What happened?
Oh, yeah. I was just wondering. I was just asking, are you talking about like just organizing?
Yeah, just organizing some of the video, like some of the reoccurring shows, into like their own playlists.
Right.
So
yeah.
People can go back. So, Stephen Cruz. Oh no, he's got to take off early. Just wanted to say the thumbs up and say what's up. See, well, thanks so much for hanging out, for popping in, Stephen Cruz. That means a lot. Thanks for the thumbs up. And yeah, everybody who comes in, if you could click that thumbs up, that'll help more people see us streaming and everything. So yeah, please do so. Click that thumbs up now. I need to go back and forth from StreamYard to YouTube to see where we are at. But yeah, 8 watching and only 6 thumbs up. Now, what is up with that, people? Come on. 2 holdouts that have decided they are not pleased. So how are you, Al? How's it going? Things with you today been going pretty well?
Say what now?
Things with you going today? How are they going?
Oh, fine. Deacon visited, got communion this morning, so that was nice. And otherwise, was just today was a work on Facebook pages day, getting scheduling stuff. And
how difficult has it been to hold your horses for tomorrow when Godzilla King of Monsters hits Amazon? Have you even thought about it?
No, I've thought about it. Trust me. Tomorrow will be I'm trying to figure the best window where I could just make the world go away and dance and kaiju fun.
And we want to hear all about it. Your reaction on office hours tomorrow night. So.
Yeah, I was just watching Legion, the series finale.
Okay.
Of the show I like, which is if you take acid and then do mushrooms. it's kind of along those lines. It is wild. I mean, every now and then they'll break out to a dance routine,
Yeah.
songs. It is wild. But they did finally bring in Charles Xavier this year,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the guy they had playing him. He was good for a TV version and a younger version. He was playing a young version.
Okay. Have you seen Frolic Fun Happenstance's comment yet?
Ha ha ha. Laugh as much as you want. Facebook is still a thing.
It is a thing. I mean, there are lots of people, over 50 in the world, so it has to be a thing.
Says the man who also has a Facebook page.
I keep my Facebook page for mostly family. I rarely ever post to it, but I keep it up there. I do have I opened up a Professor Geek page on Facebook, a fan page, but I just never got around to updating it, and I'm wondering if there's really any utility in it. But maybe I should. Maybe it's an audience waiting to happen there. So
yeah, I mean there are people who use face. I don't know why Facebook gets such a bad rep. I like it. I like how it's set up. I like the functionality of it. For what I'm doing with it, it just works for me. Instagram is a pain in the ass to me.
Yeah,
because you can't really. Well, if you can share, I sure as hell don't know how to. There's all kinds of different weird. I don't know. It's just I don't like the way it looks.
Oh, boom!
Hi, Marjade.
Yes, Marjade here. Welcome, Paladin Demo, and yeah. So I think we're gonna go ahead and get started, unless anybody has any objections to looking at these two chapters, and we will pour into them. So we are in chapters 14 and 15 this week, and we are really coming along quite well. We've got wow, look at this. So I've got my bookmarked at the beginning of chapter 14. So this is still, you should take 2 chapters away, but look at the space. So that's the thick part is the part of the book we've gone through already, and the thin part is what we have left. So we've been trucking right along. So doing quite well.
Cool.
So, Al, any general reactions to these 2 chapters before or anybody in the chat, or feel free to put in some general reactions before I delve in with my directed discussion?
I like how well, thanks to you, some of the themes that you've brought up in previous sessions, I'm kind of noticing a few kind of things like how the strength in numbers, their strength, knowledge is power, because all the dumb people are evil.
Yeah.
Everybody who's like, they're like easily manipulated by Pennywise.
Yeah.
And these kids who, have a brain in their head aren't as susceptible to his machinations. I mean, he can still mess with their head, but he can't make them do or think something.
Yeah.
He can only make them see something.
These 2 chapters, some of the things I find interesting is that I still love it. And if you're reading the book for the first time, if your only experience with this story was like, let's say It Chapter 1, the movie or whatever before this, then you think of it as a very divided story, but it's not, and it really affects the experience of the story when you approach it as 2 separate stories. Okay, that was when they were children. Now there's the story when they were adults. That's another reason I'm nervous about this It Chapter 2 and what they're doing with that, because the book, they're so integrated and entwined. They're the memories of what was going on with what's happening in the present day.
Yeah, it's like it's an interwoven tapestry, as opposed to 2 separate chapters. I mean, because it's so interwoven, and now everybody said who had read the book, and like you who had told me, it's like it would be so hard to really film how the book goes, and you're right, it would have to be done as one gigantic piece,
Mhm.
much like the miniseries tried.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I have to go back and watch the miniseries. I've only seen the miniseries once last year,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing it again,
Mhm.
just now with my bolstered book knowledge,
Yeah.
my
No.
my book learning.
Me too. Me too. One of the cool things about this these two chapters is that we really start to see, so what's happening in the story is that everybody, all the adults are together now and they're sharing their memories, and they're all starting to as one person will share their memory of this incident, everybody will start to remember it. And you see that reflected in the actual language in the narration, because the narrative perspectives start to blend a little bit more. Previously to this point, it's been very segmented. Like, this was Richie's chapter, and Richie would do the remembering, and it would be from his perspective as a child, or this would be from Eddie's or whatever, or this section or whatever. Now with 14, we start with Mike. This is Mike remembering. Mike has an experience there, with seeing the head of Stanley and everything like that. But then he's remembering joining the club and showing them the picture album and everything. But by the end of that chapter, we jump into Bill's perspective in the past, and we haven't established Bill's perspective. So it's a subtle thing, and the average reader's not going to catch it, but subconsciously you'll catch it. And that's a cool thing you can do with the narration and the language, to cue people in subconsciously that there is more of a blending happening now. There's a gelling of the team. As the narration tells us that, but you can kind of sense that as well through the narrative perspective. And then when we get to Richie's perspective, talking about the smoke hole ceremony, they we jump into all kind of different people's perspectives there. So that's a really cool little point too.
Yeah, that was kind of another one of those things. It's like they know that Pennywise is an ancient creature, so it's like they're bringing out an ancient method of trying to figure him out.
Yeah, good point.
The Indian ceremony, the Native American ceremony.
Good point, because these two chapters also really start to dwell in a really, because we really get the Lovecraftian. I see Paladin Dim was already excited about that in the chapter, in the discussion, but we really start to delve into some of the Lovecraftian lore here. But it's not just Lovecraft. I mean, Stephen King is really trying to draw out with these two chapters. We're going into religious creation stories or references. It gets kind of sort of biblical here in a little bit, or sort of creation origin mythologies a little bit in a way, because and he builds on that bit by bit. So for one, at one point, they there's the 7 of them. Okay, it needs to be the 7 of them. When Mike is joined, they all know, they get the sense that, okay, it's 7 of us now. And 7, of course, is a significant number throughout a lot of different mythologies, but biblically, and I'm sticking with, you'll find out why I'm sticking with biblically here in a second. But biblically, 7's the number of completion, right? 7 days to create, well, 6 days to create Earth, and on the 7th day he rested. But still, that's the that's the creation story in Genesis. And then you've got 7, coming throughout the Bible 2 different ways. The 7 years of tribulation and this kind of stuff. 7's a significant number. It's a number of completion, and so, but it's a number of completion tied to creation, the 7 days of creation. So when you keep going with that, we'll keep building on it. But eventually we start to use a lot of biblical language. Like, there's a point when I think at the beginning of the next chapter, when Bill swats a mosquito on the back of Richie's neck, and Richie said, "Oh, look at that! There's blood, my blood." And then in italics, which are his thoughts, that was shed for you and for me and for many, or whatever. He's quoting the Bible, and of course, there's we'll get into the biblical quotes when they actually see the coming of it. With the beginning was the Word, stuff like that. So building into some creation mythology. I don't want to go too far with that, because I want to kind of keep somewhat linear, but we'll pick up on that. We'll build up on that. What else did I want to say before I got too far there? I love the fact that when Mike joins, see, that's one of the reasons I don't know if this book really, if Stephen King could have written it today. I mean, Stephen King is certainly Mr. Social Justice as well on Twitter now, but it was a different time that he wrote this in the 80s. And I don't know if he would have delved quite so far into, or maybe he would have, because he really is all about telling the truth, and stuff like that. And the book certainly is in no way glorifying it, but they don't shy away from the fact that Mike's black. I love the fact that the children, they accept him. They don't care about his race. They accept him for it, but they don't ignore it either. And Bill asked him
Well,
a question. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Well, you're talking about him being black. It's almost like when you look at the group, they're a very diverse group.
Yeah,
You have
everybody's
the
got their
black, you
thing.
have
Yeah,
you have the Jew, you have the girl, you have the
the abused girl, the
yeah,
hypochondriac,
the
the
abuse,
stutterer.
yeah, yeah. There's just like all these weird, weird things going on. But like I said, ultimately, it's a lot of diverse pieces coming together to make the whole.
Mm-hmm.
And you would need someone. You would need Mike
Mm-hmm.
to complete him. I mean, to complete that, you need Bev. You would need um sadly you would need Stanley, but unfortunately, well, I mean, as kids they did
They
get
did
Stanley.
need him. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, they would, but unfortunately they're short him now.
Mm-hmm. And by the end of this chapter, we really see all of their roles kind of slide into place more succinctly. I'll talk about that when we get there. But yeah. So I love the fact, because you're thinking, okay, why is it? Well, there's a couple reasons, but well, I have a thought, but I'll let you see if you have any ideas. Do you have any thoughts? Why is it that Richie and Mike are the ones that see the vision in the smoke hole?
Specifically, I don't. I could see why Mike would, him being the one most in tune with Pennywise through historically and through the story. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of him as a kid. This is what happens when you forget that some stories he learns later.
Yeah, but he's still interested in the history of it.
But he's still into the history.
Mm-hmm.
Richie, I don't know. What would your thoughts be on why Richie saw?
Well, here's the thing.
And isn't that the next chapter? I thought we were.
Yeah. Well, you can't help but to bump ahead a little bit, because when Mike comes there to meet them all, Richie's immediately saying, "Oh, there comes that black child," and all this kind of stuff, and messes with him, jokes with him, like he joked around with Ben, about his weight a little bit, but it's all good natured, and so he jokes with all of them about their shortcoming. He jokes with Eddie about the asthma. He jokes with Stan about being a Jew. He's going to joke with Mike about being black. That's what Richie does. And Mike is kind of guarded, like he's waiting for them to do the cliche, like, "Oh, what's it like to be black?" or something like that. No one ever does, but Richie's the only one that really kind of over the top kind of addresses the elephant in the room as not an elephant in the room. It's like, that's not even a big deal. It's something I can even joke about, And right. I think that's kind of something that starts to build rapport between Mike and Richie, a little bit already. So there's a bit of a rapport going there. They go into the ground. This is something else being planted into the ground. This is their clubhouse. And we talked about all of the imagery throughout the book of underground being in the ground. You can plant things good, but there's also corruption that comes up from the ground, which is it. And that's his place, coming up from the sewers and stuff like that. We pointed out image after image and language after language instance that keeps bringing that up. But even the clubhouse going into the ground. But no, this is why I think Mike and Richie are the ones who see the vision, because they are the two most religious out of all the seven there.
Oh, okay.
And bear with me when I say that. I don't mean that either of them are really like, little gospel children or anything like that, or choir boys or anything like that. But Mike goes to a religious school. He goes to the Nebolt Church Street School, or Nebolt Street Church School, I think is what it's called. He plays in their band there and everything. And Richie's the one always bringing up, what he learns in his Methodist church, this and that. Not that either of them are particularly, like I said, legalistically religious by any means, but they have that childlike faith. We talked about that before with Richie in particular, and Mike as well, been linked to that. I think that's one of the reasons, because this smoke hole ceremony is yet another religious ceremony, of American Indians that they were doing back in the, linked to their own religions and creation stories as well and all of that. So that's why I think the two of them are the ones to see this vision. You think about Stan is too adult to see a vision like that.
Yeah, he just can't let his mind open to it.
Yeah. Bev is Sorry, I'm going through here. Bev has too much of a tenuous relationship, I think, with fantasy versus reality. We see this throughout, as well as when she was adult and going back to her home and stuff like that. We see that over and over when she was a child, and the blood in the bathroom. We see Bill. He's got this, kind of a vengeance kind of thing he's going for, and these are all good. I mean, these aren't flaws. These are things that each of them needs to bring to the team. But I think Richie and Mike are the ones uniquely suited to see this. But yeah, I'm jumping ahead again to the smoke hole. So let me go back. Let me dial it back a little bit. I know I keep going there. So while they're still building the clubhouse. So welcome Metanui, Daniel Hernan, seeing some new people join us. Welcome. Exact Change Only here. Welcome. They're building the clubhouse, and they talk about that. We talked about planting that in the ground and everything like that. And then Mike brings, the next day he comes, he brings, they all tell him about it and their experiences with it. And Mike tells them about his as well. And he tells them about the parade when he was playing in the church, church school band, playing his trombone in the parade. And he kept seeing it, Pennywise, over and over. Like he'd see him in one street, and each time he would see him, he would look directly at Mike and wink or wave or something like that. And then he would see him again down the parade route where there's no way a human being could have, gotten that far ahead of them. Mm-hmm. And the reason he sees him in this parade is because Mike has already seen a picture of it in some of the old pictures that his father keeps of the history of Derry. So one of the old parades, I think it was like early or 1890 or early 1900, something like that. So again, the parade, linked there for the 2 times a season. Then he tells him about the bird, seeing him that way, and they realize that all of their shared fears and now that they're coming together, now that they're 7 together, they would be able to each one of them can see it embody as any of the fears now that they've shared it with each other, so that final gel together. But going through that album at that point, I think go ahead.
Because if that album was because wasn't that the scene that they changed in the new movie to the slideshow?
Yeah, and I think it really ruined it. It's a cool scene.
It's a cool scene. Yeah, right. I like the physical nature of the photo album.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The thing about because Bill has already had a bad experience with a photograph, and I like how he's the one who's wary, and for some reason, and I like the fact that it actually kind of sort of does work, that the plastic film actually kind of protects them.
Yeah.
Little bit.
Yeah. Melissa Harris has to go. Thank you for hanging out with us, Melissa Harris. Though it's always great to have you here. And please do come back if you can, or we'll catch you tomorrow at office hours, and we can talk more about your thoughts on chapter 2 there. But so like the scene in chapter 2 was a cool one when they see the slides start to go pretty quickly, and then you see the clown moving a little bit. But that's nowhere near as horrifying as this scene. And I think they did it really well in the miniseries. But think about this scene as it happens in the book here. They're all looking at the photos, and Bill's nervous. Because he touched the photo, tried to reach into it that one time, and had his fingers all clogged up, and he could have had his fingers taken off. So he's telling people, don't touch it. And then at one point, when they finally see that photo move, they get to the photo of the parade, and they see it start to move, and they see the different things coming over the hill and the different bands and stuff like that, and they see it there, handing out balloons and everything like that. And then one of them was going to touch it, and Bill says, don't touch it. And Ben says, no, I think it's okay. You're talking about the plastic wrapper. And Ben so they're looking at the thing move. It's in the picture. And then Ben says, no, it's okay. See, and Ben lays his hand over the picture to show that the covering is protecting it. See, it's not a big deal. And then he takes his hand away. And as soon as he takes his hand away, all of a sudden it is plummeting towards them in the picture. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, boom, that snap of like, now he's aware of you. Now he's running right towards you. And it's like, you saw him back there in the distance at one point. A hand is covering, a hand takes away, and then he's like right up there in your face, climbing the lamp pole. That's terrifying. And then him screaming. And this is such a terrifying moment. And I went back and watched the scene in the miniseries because it's so good. I love how Tim Curry does it as well. And I went back and listened to the part in Steven Weber's audiobook. And I love the way Steven Weber voices, Pennywise at this point, because, everything's kind of calm. They're watching. And then he's a clown, so he's supposed to be over the top. and sort of maniacal in a funny way, but he's also got this drip of evil in him, kill you all, and that's what he's saying over and over again. And I get goosebumps every time that scene. Did you appreciate it too?
Oh yeah, that was pretty wild.
Mm-hmm. And I think they just wanted to update it because they were in the 80s. So, of course, it makes sense that, 80s children would probably be more likely to look at old slideshow maybe than photo. But, photo albums were still around. There was no real reason to have to update that. It was just another incidence, I think, of them trying to make the story their own, which is fine if it's going to be as effective, but it wasn't as effective.
Yeah, if they make this film in like another 25 years, it'll have to be on a cell phone or
an old computer or something like that,
or whatever smartphone device,
Yeah.
Which could be, but yeah, I do like the physical, like him trying to come through.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder if that plastic film wasn't on, would he have been able to enter the room the place that they were at,
mm-hmm.
and deal with? I mean, I don't know what he would have done, but because it's almost like he does kind of like playing with him a little bit.
Yeah, and he was pressing out, like they saw his clown nose switch against the covering of the thing.
Yeah, like he was on a window, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Paladin Demo says the photos are moments at a time, and albums are slides. I agree, and I think that's what's so cool. They're supposed to be these captured moments. And then when a moment starts to move and it becomes suddenly not a moment, but a look into time, that's the uncanny terror of it. And the problem with changing that still photo to a slide is that there's already some sort of sense of movement in a slideshow. It's nowhere near like, a movie or something that it becomes, in that scene in it, chapter 1, but there is a, it's a little bit closer to movement than a static photo. So that's kind of one of the things there that I think is,
Oh, the one story about if I remember from chapter 1, the movie, is when they did that scene. It was one of the first scenes they did,
mm-hmm.
and the kids had not seen Pennywise.
I think I heard that.
Yeah. So they were literally seeing him. They were seeing him on that screen for the first time, and
mm-hmm.
their genuine reactions
mm-hmm.
of what was going on is what the director was going for.
Yeah.
So I could see that.
Good directing. Yeah,
it was a good directing, but I could see where, like in the book, how it would be harder to capture say like a today's audience.
Mm-hmm.
I think today's audience is so, I don't know what the word for, I don't want to use a bad word or, a negative word.
Well, they're numbed.
They're numbed. Exactly. They're not, I was going to say jaded, but, that, because it's like the first time I saw The Exorcist, the first Exorcist, I was much older, and it'd been a decade. I'd seen, all the Freddys and Jasons and all this other stuff, where it just didn't have the same resonance with me that it would have had with people at the time who were seeing it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So you do become a little numb to some things like that.
Yeah. Paladin Demo points out the map overlay with the projector was easy to better align that with the hand drawing of the sewer map. Yeah, but there's no sewer map in this scene. They're not actually there at this. They're talking about anything like that. I'm looking at a map yet in this point in the book. But you're right. I mean, that was a cool thing to be able to do in the movie. The light and everything like that overlay was easier to do. Now at the end of after this, so it starts saying, I'm the teenage werewolf, I'm the mummy, I'm who else was he? Something else, and then he says, "I'm the Dead Boys." And as soon as he gets ready to become the leper, and then as soon as he gets ready to become the Dead Boys, Stan closes the book because Stan can't. He doesn't want to believe it. Stan does not want to believe. He's afraid. So he's already afraid. He can already be hurt, but he doesn't want to believe, and he has to believe in order to fight it. And Bill has to be the one that coaxes him and says, "No, you have to. You did see it. We're not going to let you deny this. You did see it. We all saw it." And Bill really emerges even more solidly as their leader here. Stan emerges as their, weak link, but he's also got his own, his own cleverness and his own things that are going to help them in a bit, as we'll see, because of, his space there. And I love the little moment too where Bill looks around and Bill's like, because that's a leader's thing, a leader's thing is like, so I have to comfort all of you guys, but I don't get anybody to comfort. I don't get anybody to turn to. And yet at the same time, he realizes what I think is really, really a great insight into humanity that, but as your leader, I'm also kind of using you for an agenda too, which isn't really, I mean, they all know about it. He wants vengeance, for his brother too, but it's a good insight, it's kind of an interesting little dynamic into the group. So we really see their roles pretty much set. There are some of the certain gifts and things they can bring to the group will emerge more in the coming chapters, but I like that.
Well, they always say, sometimes it's lonely at the top, and when you're a leader, it's a little, you have to be the one that's almost always on.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a tough place to be.
Yeah. As we open up chapter 15, now we move over to start out anyway with Richie's perspective. And because Richie's going to finally realize that burning behind his contacts that he felt when Mike first called him, and again when he sees the vision of it with the Paul Bunyan statue, that horrible burning and he can't get his contacts out or whatever, is the smoke in his eyes from when he was a child and they were doing this smoke hole ceremony. He realizes that, so now he's going to tell him the story. But I love the entry, the introduction to this chapter, because it really delves into some of the magic of childhood and what they are regaining as adults, coming back together and regelling and recapturing. So he talked about the energy he feels, this energy that's gaining. They all it's almost like cocaine, but not quite that. He's done cocaine a couple times. The energy you drew on so extravagantly when you were a kid, the energy you thought would never exhaust itself, that slipped away somewhere between 18 and 24 to be replaced by something much duller, something as bogus as a coke high, purpose, or goals, or whatever rah-rah junior chamber of commerce word you wanted to use. It was no big deal. It didn't go all at once with a bang. And maybe Richie thought that's the scary part, how you don't stop being a kid all at once with a big explosive bang, like one of those clowns trick balloons. With slogans, the kid in you just leaks out like the air out of his tire. And one day you look in the mirror and there was a grown-up looking back at you. You could go on wearing blue jeans. You could go on listening to Springsteen, Seeger concerts, whatever. You could dye your hair, but that was a grown-up's face in the mirror just the same. It all happened while you were asleep. Maybe like a visit from the Tooth Fairy or the Age Fairy things. And I think it's a really fascinating exploration or explanation of aging and the process and whatnot, and how they we'll talk about that in a little bit, but that's they've all grown up. They have grown up. They are adults now, and they're wanting to recap. They need to recapture this magic of childhood, and that's kind of what they're doing. So that's this growing energy. But I don't want to say too much about that till we get to a little bit in the chapter, because I'll revisit that. But I mean, did you enjoy that description as well, or get anything out of it?
Yeah, I was trying to remember some of the stuff. But when you were pulling that out, but you're right. You look one day, you look in the mirror and you're like, "What the hell happened?" oh my God! I mean, if I close my eyes and really think, I still feel like that. I could still imagine myself being that 12-year-old kid, or that 20-something. Adonis with a,
you still see yourself mentally, is that? Yeah.
Yeah, I could. Yeah. Imagination's a wonderful thing. Which is what I mean, like I said, it's what they need. They are using all this, imagination, trying to come up with anything they can to beat Pennywise or it. Mm-hmm. And like I said, like I mentioned earlier, the smokehouse, it's an ancient wisdom. I mean, that's not something kids would just like bring up. Hey, let's make a smokehouse.
Yeah.
That's I mean, they may not do it right or whatever, but it ends up working for two of them.
Casey Scott said, "Cocaine? I didn't know there was a party up in here."
Now, the funny thing is what I have to say is, because when you were reading that part and you were talking about the Coke eye, and I was listening to it and I heard the word Coke, I immediately thought of Coca-Cola. Tells you how innocent. And,
there you go. You're such Such an innocent Al.
Well, not so much innocent, but I'm more focused on food and drink than I am, more drunk stuff.
So the chapter starts out with that explanation of what it's like to lose your childhood, and that's where the magic is, that belief and everything, and they're regaining that. They're regaining the energy, they're regaining their childhood. Then there's something very subtle done in the language here. When Richie finally remembers, and he's like, his mind's blown because he remembers, the smoke behind the eyes, he remembers the smoke hole ceremony. There's a repetition of a phrase. So, oh my God, he cries suddenly. This is Richie. He gropes for the table, half stands, then falls back into his chair with a boneless thud. He knocks his can of beer over, reaching for it, picks it up, and drinks what's left. He looks at Mike while the others look at him, startled and concerned. The burning, he almost shouts. The burning in my eyes, Mike. The burning in my eyes. Mike is nodding, smiling a little. Okay, so he starts to tell him a little bit about it. And then later Richie says, it was 4 or 5 days after Mike brought his dad's album down to the Barrens, sometime just after the middle of July, I guess. The clubhouse was done, but the smoke hole thing, that was your idea, Haystack. You got it out of one of your books. Smiling a little, Ben nods. And then later, are you going to talk to us or not, Richie? Bev asked. She is smiling a little, her lips full and pale, rose red, her eyes alight. and this repetition of 3 times of that phrase is all on 2 pages. So that's something that a writer, going through a revision process, that's not random. You catch that. You catch revise. Those are called echoes when you use a phrase too closely together over and over again. And that's something you want to avoid unless it's for a reason. Mm-hmm. So you've got Mike, Ben, and Bev all smiling a little, kind of because they're delving back into this childhood like they're going a little farther into the childhood like magic. Now, why not the others? And we see Eddie's the first one. Eddie gets a reaction, but he doesn't smile a little. What are you guys talking about? Eddie asked, looking from one to the other. Eddie's just in total confused and ignorance. He doesn't remember anything because Eddie, remember, he's now our biggest weak link now that Stan's gone. Mm-hmm. Bill, the smoke hole, Bill muses. His eyes are far and blue. Bill's the leader. Bill's looking ahead to what they might have to do. Bill can't quite be in the moment as the rest of them. That's why it's Bev, Ben, and Mike smiling a little. They get to go a little farther. It's a subtle thing, but I thought that was really cool. I'm always looking for good, clever uses of the language. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm making too much of it, but I think it's there, and I liked it. So, all right. So then we get the biblical, like I said, the mosquito, my blood, Richie thought, which was shed for you and for many. The ghost of the Great Plains book, again, old religions, the smoke hole. Just kind of going over this that we already talked about a little bit. So they do this ceremony. Before they do the ceremony, though, we've got this key scene. They want Beverly to stay out, or Bill does anyway, and they need somebody to stay up top in case they all start getting seriously sick and in danger of dying from smoke inhalation. So they need somebody at least to be up top to haul them out should that happen. Bill wants it to be Beverly, and she says, "Because I'm a girl, isn't it? Because I'm a girl, isn't isn't it?" And this is another thing that would have been completely social justice it up, today if this was written. Mm-hmm. Because she's a girl, because like it's I think it's a it's a general kind of like chivalric kind of thing. The girl shouldn't have to suffer like the rest of us. Now she of course says, "Screw that, I'm one of you. I'm going down too." Yeah. But they decide, okay, well, one of us needs to at least be up there. So Bev decides they'll draw straws. She takes the matches and lights one of them, so it has a different color tip, and has them all draw straws. And I think it's so there's this weird moment, and until you think about it, what does it mean? Bill takes the the match and he says, "I love you, Bevy," and then he takes the match, and each and every one of them tells her that they love her as they take the match. And she doesn't even say, "I love you guys too." She says, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And I think this is building something here. I think this is building a theme. But let me see if you have any thoughts about it, Al, before I can maybe put words into your mind.
They all love her. It's hard to be in a group. If you're in a group of 7 people and one of them's a girl and an attractive girl, quite frankly, 6 boys are going to be in love with one girl. I like Bill's thinking. Bill Bill's smart, and I think I think he does have that white knight syndrome to keep
Mhm.
to keep Bev to keep the girl safe.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and it is smart to have someone on the outside, not only if someone's getting sick on the inside, but if someone like Henry Bowers or someone like that comes by, it's good to have a lookout.
Yeah.
But yeah, with them all saying I love you to her, thank you. I think her saying thank you is akin to saying I love you back.
Mhm. I think what's being done here, and yeah, you got a good handle on the practical side of it there. Yeah, definitely. I think remember that the major themes of these two chapters is really setting up these sort of religious ideas. And not
Mhm.
religious per se, religion's part of it, but more sort of primordial or creation origin. Primordial ideas like where the magic comes from. The magic is what they're tapping into, right? The turtle and stuff like that, and this Lovecraftian idea of it being there as this primordial evil. There are 7 of them. 7 is a number associated with creation. There's one woman among them, so you get this idea of like an Eve, or even, if you look at typology in biblical, theology or analysis, a Virgin Mary type.
Right. Yeah.
And we know that,
I was wondering if you were going with the Mary.
yeah, not
I thought that's where you
specifically,
were going with it.
not like to the T, not specifically, but this
Mhm.
type, because you see this quite often when you have a group of heroes. Like think about when we had our discussion of Dracula last Halloween or last October, and we were talking about how once the group of Helsing and Harker and all of them, all the guys are on this mission, and Mina becomes sort of like a Virgin Mary to all of them. She becomes this sort of like, or if you don't want to think about the Virgin Mary aspect, think of it more like a courtly love kind of
Mhm.
aspect. Like they're all her champions, that kind of
Right. Right.
thing. And we know, of course, that there's going to be a big scene, that develops this more fully. You can like it or hate it, but I think it's part of the theme later in the sewers. But there's this idea here. So she is set apart as the feminine because you need a masculine and a feminine
Mhm.
for creation. And these 2 chapters are really loaded up with a lot of creation, origin, mythology, images, and everything like that. And that's part of it, I think. So I can't go too far into it until we keep going into the book. But I just want to lay the groundwork and just put some of the seeds in there.
Yeah,
Also,
you're I could say, yeah, you know how to dig at it, man.
well, I keep wanting to say things that are from later in the book, but I don't want to. I want to wait till we get there. So I just want to have planted the
Right.
seed here, so we can come back to it. But also the fact that remember they're all barren. That's one of the things they realize that they all come back and none of them have had children miraculously. I mean, some of them should have had children, but just absolutely didn't. And that's part of it too. And I think that they have to have this transition going back from their adulthood to be able to recapture that childlike magic. I say this as a parent, so I don't mean this to sound as harsh as it does, but you do kind of cross some point of no return of adulthood when you become a parent. Now that doesn't mean you can't be incredible. You guys have listened to our streams, you know what a child I am, but you have to. There has to be some, if you're doing parenthood right, there has to be some sort of absolute selfless laying aside, self-sacrifice,
It
really putting somebody else. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't be this without a parent, without being a parent. Of course you can, but just in terms of the story and the typology and everything like that, I think that's key that none of them have gone forth and been fruitful.
yeah, like basically, I was going to say, if you're a parent, you get rewired,
Mhm.
and none of them have been wired for that or wired to be a parent, so
Yeah.
they haven't had that.
I think I just saw Yellow Flash in here. Welcome, Yellow Flash. That was a super chat too, wasn't it? No. Oh, it was a super chat. Thank you, Yellow Flash. Appreciate it. Oh, look, it's Geek Bully. He says, "Yes, Geek Bully is here, drinking my Diet Dr Pepper mixed with sadness." Yeah.
I find sarcasm adds a better zip to a soda.
Oh yeah, I see. Well, no. I was supposed to taste like Diet Dr. Pepper and sadness when the Minotaur eats me and turns me into the stuff coming out of their mouths and fingers on their keyboards. um, okay, back to the book there. Help me out if because super chats don't. I'm still getting used to
I was reading something.
That's okay. Yeah,
about
I'm
it.
still getting. They don't show up quite as prominently on StreamYard, but I bump over to there and see it whenever you get there. Paladin Demo says, let me go back down. The Losers Club are fruitful, not in the raising kids, but fame and fortune. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's part of it too. All right, so we covered that part. Then Richie and Mike finally have the vision. Everybody else is bailed. They can't handle the smoke because we're sort of one by one, and they finally get this vision, and they're going back. They call it to the Ago, which is this primordial time in the Barrens, but like before the Ice Age, before people are even around. They say, except for maybe some in Africa if they're just coming down from the trees at that point or whatever. And they start to get really loopy and flippy, as they call it, and they start to have weird thoughts. And this is another cool thing that's done with the language. Mikey and or Mikey, as Richie calls him, Rich and Mike. Rich keeps telling him, like, playing off of these little silly sayings that Rich has. Like, you want to say okay, Mikey. He said okay. You want to say this? You want to say right on or whatever? You want to say you got the word? You want to say you got the word? And that's interesting. You got the word, and then it plays with this. So when they finally do have the vision, they're floating up in there. And now they're in this primordial period of the Barrens. They're holding hands to kind of ground each other. And Richie says, "Do you know where we are?" He shouted at Mike. "You got the word?" Mike shouted back, "Jesus, yes." Now he's just saying, like, "Jesus, yes," he like an exclamation like that. But they on the next page, the word in the beginning was the word, because when they hear the sound of it coming through this, from space and landing on Earth, it grew steadily. It had no tone. It simply was the word. In the beginning was the word, because these are the two ones that would recognize these biblical quotes. So he's referencing there John chapter 1. In the beginning was the word was with God, and the word was God, the word was made flesh. The word is Jesus in that passage that they're quoting there. And these two who would understand biblical quotes. So back again, when Richie says, "Do you know where we are?" He shouted at Mike, "You got the word?" Jesus, yes. You see what he's doing there with the language? It's really cool. And again, he's not trying to make this a biblical story. He's drawing on a bunch of different origin stories, the Native American, the Lovecraft, but he's also drawing from biblical stories like this. So I love that. I love the little plays on language.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was more into the what was going on as far as its origin, where it's from, how we get just enough to like tease us, but it's still so mysterious. It just one day appeared and has been there for longer than than anyone's ever known.
Yeah.
And I think it's like something that old, that powerful. And I forget who said it. It was like one of them was like was trying to even question themselves, like, how are we going to beat this thing?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Something that's been around that old, that comes from outer space somewhere.
Yeah.
How can 7 kids beat this thing?
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I found the most interesting. It's like, you're right. I mean, think of yourself as that young teen kid and figuring what you're trying to fight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah, I mean, you're fighting something as big as the devil in terms of their understanding. I mean, it's a supernatural force.
Something
that adults would be powerless.
Yeah, something that's millions of years old. I mean, it just hasn't been around because it's weak. I mean, this thing is going to have tricks. It knows how to survive.
Yeah. Paladinimo says the primordial nightmare is as old as humanity itself, while daunting but not undefeatable. Yeah, and all of these stories, like remember the Manitou story, I think it was, that they told about the you stick out your tongue and lock tongues and tell each other jokes or whatever. Yeah, so every culture has stories of how to beat them. But it is a primordial, evil. It's a big deal. It's a big reoccurring thing. The piece of intel they get from this vision, they do find out how old it is, and that it's been there for a lot long. But the intel they get is that he crashed down in the Barrens right where downtown would be today.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of know the general area to pinpoint then of for when they do later go in search of him. They always knew he was in the sewers, he was underground, but now they know he's directly under downtown. So that's sort of the beta intel they get.
I mean, it gives them the X on the map.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And when you go through the first reading of it, or even maybe sometimes your second or third reading, the events of the story are what hit you first, and they should. You should enjoy them. You should let yourself get wrapped up in them. But if you want to go deeper, and if you want to do some some analytical reading to see all the cool stuff that's being done to give you the experiences and to even add to your understanding of it, then you kind of once you kind of had that ride of the events, then you go back and look at the language, and then you can look into the deeper stuff. So I don't want to discourage anybody or make anybody think I'm an idiot, like, no one ever gets that while reading this. Well, yeah, you do. You just have to maybe read it a second or third time and, analyze it. And that's what, that's what analysis is. Yeah.
See, that's where you're different from me. This is my first experience with it. So I'm getting much more of the surface content. Whereas you've actually, I mean, you're Pennywise. You're digging down into the sewers.
Well, that's why it's cool to have your perspective on here as well as mine. I like that. I like the mix. Fan, sorry, it's getting a little warm in here. Yeah, and that really brings us up to to the end of the chapter. Here, they get that Palindimus is the center of the lair, the main chamber of any beast where you rest, recover, or digest. Yeah, they got to hit them in their heart at the home there. Is that changing? Oh, they're talking to each other. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I address any comments there for the book. But yeah, that's into that. So now chapter 16 is going to be a really sweet chapter. We're going to deal with Eddie. Chapter 16 and 17.
Brutal.
I know. Yeah. Let me look at the calendar here. 1, 2, and then 3. All right. Let me take a look at the chapters again because they're coming up on my birthday trip and the release of it, chapter 2 in theaters, and I want to be able to get through this and do the rewatches, of the miniseries in chapter 1 by then. So let me do some math. Talk amongst yourselves. Entertain them. This will take a while.
Oh my God, the professor's doing math. This is not going to be good. We'll probably end up still be doing it in December if we use his math. Let's see. Anybody, see who has. Yes, yes, everyone knows Mara Jade is a girl now. We definitely proved that the other night, Mara?
Yeah, that was cool. That was so cool to have.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Something good, sort of. I mean, if you consider me live streaming a good thing, came from the audio nightmare. But hopefully we'll get back to do weird science because I really love that.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna do it this Saturday night again. Yeah, so yeah, we'll just hit it this Saturday night now that StreamYard's working and there's no more audio trouble with stupid OBS or anything. All right, so I just made a decision. And this isn't very long. This is easy to do. We're gonna do the next 3 chapters for this week. They're not very long, and it finishes out. Are you okay, Al? I gotta listen to audiobook more. Oh my gosh.
I just started watching The Boys on Amazon.
TV to watch, man. Come on, reading. This would finish out part 4. And let me see how long the Dairy interlude is. I might even throw that in as well. Yeah, we're gonna do the Dairy interlude too. So we're gonna do the next 3 chapters and the Dairy interlude. It's only it's from 774 to 908. It's not that long. It's this much of the book, right there, if you can see that. So that's not long for a week. But that would put us on schedule to then do another chunk the next week, and then that weekend of the 31st at the end of the month, we could go ahead and do our rewatch of It miniseries, and maybe even on Sunday do a rewatch of It Chapter 1 if we wanted to, just to prepare for the It Chapter 2 release that week. So
okay, so we're going to try it for 16, 17, 18, and the interlude.
Yep. It's not that long. It's not as long as some of the 2 chapters we've already done. It's not so bad.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how long they are. So
yeah. It's it's not too bad. I promise me, it's okay. And if you're trying to read along but you're having trouble with it, you're a slow reader. I'm a slow reader too, but it's easier for me because I'm rereading it. But you can always supplement with the audio. There's a great audio version of with Steven Weber. You're listening in the car, you're listening to whatever. So don't feel like you just can't participate. Or if you're behind too and you haven't quite caught up, you're welcome to still join in and listen. Or if you don't want to spoil it, these are going in the playlist, so you can always just keep just listen to it after the fact. Even if you can't join us live for the comments and stuff like that. So, but that'll be fun because that way we've got this Saturday.
Come to a live stream and get homework.
This Saturday night we'll do Weird Science. We'll do our rain check data Weird Science. Then we'll figure out something to do on the 24th. But then on the 31st we'll be able to go ahead and watch the It miniseries. So that's cool. And maybe I'll think about it. Maybe we can even do like a double, like a night. Oh, you know what? That weekend we'll have to do 2 nights because the It miniseries is like a 4-hour thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a Friday, Saturday, or either a Saturday, Sunday. Maybe we'll do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We could do 3 nights of rewatch. We could do the miniseries on Friday, Saturday, and then Chapter 1 on Sunday. I'd be up for that, but if anybody else wouldn't, we can talk about it. We'll talk about it. We've got a couple of weeks out, for that, but I think it'd be fun. I don't know if you can stay up though, Al. You can be okay.
Rough on the old man.
I know. So we got Squids McCracken in here, Ken Jack Ben, Semantic Dragon. Sorry, folks. Welcome. Yeah, we finished up with our study portion, so we can just we can decompress for a bit before I have to go start doing some work. But yeah.
Yes.
Did you hear about the Fan Man just told me about it today. I've been so busy. I haven't really kept up with some of the news and stuff like that. But apparently there's speculation now that George Lucas still retains some of the rights, or he has to get royalties or something if Disney uses the original characters. So that might be one reason why they were trying so hard to develop new characters and get away from that. That's just like a rumor. It's just a couple people have speculated about it. It's true.
I guarantee you that contract between Lucas and Disney is a nightmare read because Lucas isn't dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas has always been a very smart negotiator.
Yeah.
So he'll get his.
Mm-hmm.
He's got it. Man, I wish I had 1/100th of what that man has.
My webcam has gotten a little blurry all of a sudden. There we go. Autofocused out a bit better. Nope. See, maybe. Oh, it's the lighting. I need to be a little closer, I think. Yeah, or have something in the foreground. Cause see how the lighting changes there. I'm not quite as glowing there with my hand there, but take it away.
A little powder on the forehead. It had to be said.
No one said anything about my giant forehead yet when you had to go trot it out.
I would not say your forehead is giant.
I need lighting behind me. I think that would help because I have lighting above and one to the side. I think I need a lighting behind me. I think that's kind of what the pros do. One light back there or something. So I don't know. Well, I'll figure it out. I'll keep playing with it. But what was I going to say before
I crushed you? Oh my God! It's now after midnight. It's Godzilla Day.
Oh, I wonder if it happens right at midnight, or I'll have to take a look. But I did want to show off. I got this in the mail. Illustrator Monk did that really cool pinup of Winter, for the Tales from the Stacks. And this is the first piece of original art, of hand-drawn original art that I've received from my work. So this is really exciting for me. It's I've gotten the great art, of course, from Dave T and Kyung Lee and everything like that, but they're digital, so this is the actual first piece of hand-drawn work I've gotten. And this is show for the camera there. This is the pinup you guys have already seen, but this is the hand-drawn. Really, really cool.
I love that picture.
Yeah. I just got mailman framed it up.
That is a beautiful, very beautiful. Because that, I mean, me. Look at that picture. That hits all my wheelhouse.
He likes the shoulders in the back. He likes the butt. He likes the feet.
Back, shoulders, butt. The only thing that's not in there are, the front parts, but can't have everything at once.
Can't have every angle at once unless they do that sort of like bend twist kind of thing that they do sometimes.
Yeah, unless you get like the weird eyeball thing that you go like, whoop.
Mara J said, if Al bails, we know he'll have to watch King of Monsters. Yeah, wait, what? Al, are you there? Are you there?
Hold on, I got it. Let me go check. Let me see. See if it's available yet. Oh my God, it was available. Oh my God, do I watch it now or do I wait? I don't know.
But if you haven't gotten enough, is it available now? Or
I don't know. I'm going to Amazon.
If you haven't gotten enough of that. Sorry, I can't do something and talk at the same time. It just never works. That's not the one I want. I want to share that one. Sorry, sharing the screen here. So if you haven't gotten enough of that Illustrator Monk pinup, it is available on the campaign page website too. I've shared it on Twitter and everything as well. But still 20,710. Nothing to sneeze at whatsoever. Very happy with that progress, but I would really love to be able to get to 30,000 before the store goes down. At some point at the end of the month or early September. So, well, then we can do the trading card, like everybody has a trading card and stuff. So, but if you weren't here with us last night, because we did a little impromptu stream last night, I did reveal some of Kyung Lee's gorgeous artwork. Put it on Twitter today too, but you might have missed it there. So that's Dave T's interiors for the librarian stories, the ones that are introducing the story, the librarian introing and outroing each story. John Malin's great cover for the Fire and Winter Tale. And that's the one that Illustrator Monk's going to be illustrating the interior for. So put his pin up there of that, which is awesome. Kyung Lee is illustrating the story for Discovering Evelyn. And this was his variant cover for that story. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And these are the first 2 pages I showed last night of his interior art for Discovering Evelyn, which just looks all kinds of amazing. This young man, Devin, entering into it's like a Playboy club, but it's not the Playboy Club, but it's an analog of Playboy Club, early 60s there. And this portly gentleman here is the one from the what?
Did you give it a name? Does the club have a name?
I did in the story, but I don't want to reveal it yet until we see it in the art.
Okay.
So, because the lettering will show that. You'll have caption boxes. These pages haven't been lettered yet, so the lettering will put the content there. You'll see the caption there, but you got the waitresses and the reveal of Lila, the, as I say, waitress at the club, one of them anyway. And he's going to do a pinup of Lila too. I love Kyung's art. Love those thick hotties. But as we pointed out last night, this man in the background here, Anton, he is the character on Dave T's cover up here with the drink there. So getting a little more reference points for the characters in there and everything. I think I am going to do it. Was kind of hard with Tales from the Stack since it's a collection of 3 tales. It's kind of hard to write little synopsises for the characters because I see some campaigns will put, they'll say the players are the main characters, in the campaign portion, and they'll have like a little sketch of this character and they'll give like a brief bio. And that's a good idea because it helps your characters' names and your character as their own little personas get out into the public while the book's being promoted. And that's good. It was hard to do with 3 different tales because, besides the 3 ladies of the Stacks, I tried to put them out there as much, but there wasn't a lot I could do with like all the other different characters. But I think I am going to do that with the Fall of Mithrisis, my Sword and Sorcery campaign in October. When that goes live, I will have some bios of just some like 3 or 4 of the main characters, main players in that. But still, plenty of these. Well, this isn't limited. The Bewitching Beauties bundle. These fine, lovely pieces by Dave T. These are going to be signed and numbered, and so they'll be limited to that. Once they're ordered, once the page goes down, I think we got about 10 of them now. But there's a perk to get. It's the Bewitching Beauties bundle. It's a perk to get all 3 of those signed and numbered, with your choice of cover. So, and that's like 55, I think. Bewitching Beauties. Yeah, 50. Just 50. Just 50. So.
And just FYI, Godzilla is not on your library yet.
Maybe like up. Sometimes they upload around like 2 or something or 3. They better not have pushed it back again. I know you're gonna cut a bitch if that happens.
I'll be cutting something.
Pablo Ramirez, great.
I have waited this long. I will be fine.
Yeah. Do you have a time slot for tomorrow chosen that you can watch it?
Tomorrow's an up day, so it's gonna have to be. Let me see if I have dinner early, and then how long is it? About 2.5, 3?
I don't remember really.
I mean, I'll get to it.
Yeah. He'll make time. Mark Gates said somebody borrowed her Professor Geek mug from the faculty room. Well, that's not cool unless they start watching the channel and super chatting as well.
Well, sounds like someone's going to need to buy another one.
Yeah. Going through here. Very good. So yeah, that's all I got. That's the show for tonight. The book study. I probably will pull this down. If I get around to it, maybe I won't too. We amped a little bit in the beginning, but the meat of it's there. People can always fast forward. I don't know.
Kind of trim it up.
If I feel like it, I will. If not, I won't. Too much to do.
Well, I do know there was some question about, one, are we continuing to do book studies after we're finished with it?
Yes, I like them. So.
And 2, what the next book or 2 may be.
We haven't decided on that. Absolutely. The I keep forgetting the name of it, but the sequel to The Shining is coming out in theaters, so we could do
Dr. Sleep.
Dr. Sleep. I mean, we maybe could do The Shining and then Dr. Sleep, just keep it, time, current and everything, contemporary, whatever, for key terms and search words and stuff. But we can do something different too. If people are kind of done with Stephen King books, but I know people have said they wanted to do Salem's Lot, so it have to be something that I can really delve into. So, can't just like let the chat vote on any old thing, it's gotta be something I feel like I can something I've already read so that I can reread and come up with stuff, so we'll figure it out. We got plenty of time, got a few weeks to figure that out. And we won't really on the first week of September. That's when I'll be on my trip. So my birthday is the 4th, and that's when I'm leaving, and I'll be gone until Sunday. So all of the scheduled streams, we'll still do office hours the 3rd that night, but we won't have any. There won't be a Son of Common Skate Live, and there won't be a Saturday Night Rewatch that night. I will be doing random streams as I can, though, and you're welcome to join me for those. Like in the nights when I get back to the hotel, if the Wi-Fi is good enough, I'll do some streams here and there. But I don't want to schedule streams because I want to be on my vacation too. So
I wonder if I'll do a rewatch.
Oh, you could do one. That'd be pretty cool. That would be fun. Yeah, you could do one. You could take it over. You could do the Saturday Night Rewatch on your channel this week or that week anyway.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll talk. If you want to do that, I'd heavily endorse that. I'd point people your way. So,
and see, I am willing to do other things that are actually like super cool, like Dragon Slayer. Films that actually have heart.
No one likes Dragon Slayer but you, Al.
Shut up. Shut up. Let me live in my world.
The most positive thing people said about Dragon Slayer was, it wasn't that bad. It was okay. It was okay.
That film is a cult classic. It has very high scores and its audience appreciation. You're just jealous because you didn't think of it.
Um, just was tracking saying weird science didn't work my end. Yeah, no, the stream. Yeah, we got technical difficulties that got preempted, so we'll have to do that this Saturday.
So exactly, generally like Dragon Slayer.
I like Dragon Slayer. How much did you like Dragon Slayer? Exact change only. Did you like Dragon Slayer as much as Al, or did you think it was okay?
Because you would like it as much as I do. I truly, truly, really love that film. I just like the look of it. Of course, it's no Conan the Barbarian. I mean, let's face it. But
if you decide to do the rewatch, that'll be your channel that week, so you can pick whatever you want.
I can pick whatever. Is Steven Cruz here? You never know. You might find an interesting film like a Showgirls pop it online. Big Al presents Showgirls. That sounds like I'm putting on a show. Exactly. Big Al Showgirls.
Exact change only might prevail upon you to do the Mummy finally.
Might do the Karloff one.
Oh yeah, there you go. Welcome to Pablo Romero Art. Just see you popped in the chat. Welcome, sir. Yeah, I was just talking about the Fall of Mithrisis and the upcoming campaign a little while ago. Very cool. Exact change only says your arbitrary like level won't dissuade me. Professor Geek said I DM'd you something. Cool. What did you DM me? Oh, sweet, Pablo. That looks great. That is awesome. Those are the lines for the first page of the Fall of Mithrisis. Oh, I love how you did that perspective and oh my gosh, you got it down. That looks so cool. I can't really show you guys because it's just the lines, It's just like the blocking pretty much that artists do before they actually go in and draw faces and everything like that. But I love the composition. Excellent, awesome work there, Pablo. That looks great. Because he's doing. What's that?
Because I read for those who don't know, I've read the Fall of Mithrisis in its original novel form, which I'm sure it has changed to several levels by now.
A little bit.
So I'll be interested to see this one.
Well, I think you did read some of it. So, I decided
not all of it. Got up to a certain point, and then
I decided to do Contreras' backstory as an ash can. So the proper comic starts with Josen in his story there, the Fall of Mithrisis. So I'm gonna I'll find the ash can because Contreras' little backstory, that little pre-chapter, I like it, and I think it's good to get an idea of Contreras, but it's so short and it's not as good of a starting point to really grip readers, So I think I'm just going to do that as an ash can, and I'll throw that to some artist or whatever, eventually. But Pablo's doing the book, and he's doing amazing work. So awesome, very cool. Because he's doing a few of the pages now just right away. I'm still finalizing script. Obviously, it's going to take me a little while, but he's doing some of the pages just to have on the campaign page, because you need to have some sort of preview of what the book's going to be like, when it comes in. Exactly.
Yes. Like I've said before, Boris Karloff's Mummy is my favorite Universal monster. I don't think it's the best film, but it's my favorite monster. Hello?
Yep. I'm sorry. I'm reading.
Okay.
It actually only says she's defecting back to Team Allison. I was trying to figure out why that was going on. But so that's all I've got. You guys can maybe you'll decide on. Well, but you don't have to decide because that when you would do the rewatch, if you want to do the rewatch, you still haven't said yes. Absolutely, that wouldn't be for that'd be like 3 rewatches from now because this rewatch.
If I do one, it's going to be on the zero notice. And you never know. I might do one in the middle of the afternoon.
Okay, so you won't be doing the Saturday night rewatch then, because that's what people would like.
No, well, no, I might. I may do that Saturday night. I might do a rewatch. I will sit down. You know me. I will not commit until I give it some thought.
Okay. Okay.
But the chances are pretty good.
But you
Watch.
you don't commit.
And I will I'll get a co-host. I'll find somebody to do it with me.
You'll commit at some point before like the day of. I mean, if you're going to do the Saturday Night Rewatch, yeah, because people want to schedule that. And
I'm not gonna wait till last. Just have faith, people. Have faith.
Al never jumps into a commitment. He has to take some time to think.
I do not leap. I strategize. and consider and wonder and worry and all kinds of other things.
Semantic Dragon says while you're watching the Nightmare on Elm Street films, that's cool. We probably will do either the first one or New Nightmare because I love those two Wes Craven ones. I do like some of the middle ones too. I love the one when Alice Cooper plays Freddy's dad. That's awesome. And then Dream Warriors is all kinds of fun. But
Dream Warriors is like, we're the Dream Warriors, pal.
Right.
Dokken, baby. I got that album.
Really, really cool.
I've got well, I did. I don't know if I still have it, but I do remember having the Dokken album with Dream Warriors on it.
Yeah, they were a good band. I even really liked when George Lynch, the guitarist, went off and formed his own band called the Lynch Mob. They were really good too. They had a great album that I got as well. So yeah, there were some great musicians. Section Joyce says, Professor Geek, I have a quick question. Can a character play the role of multiple archetypes? Well, I have an answer for you, but first I have a quick question for you. Are you Team Allison or Team Michelle?
Oh, for God's sake.
No, the answer is absolutely yes. Because you've got characters out there who are multiple archetypes. I mean, you can cross over. They don't always, at different times during their story, they'll you can't really fulfill. Let me think it through before I say you absolutely can't. But I can't imagine or can't think of any instance where you can fulfill the roles of two archetypes at the same time at the same moment within a story. But yeah, a lot of characters. I mean, Spider-Man is a trickster, but you could also paint him as a that's a bad example. I'm kind of blanking right now. Wonder Woman, for example, is a heroine, but she's also a paragon. So you could also use Spider-Man as a trickster and a side. Well, Robin's a trickster and a sidekick. So yeah, you can do multiple archetypes. Yeah, depends on the archetypes, but
Are you still working on your archetype book?
I haven't worked on it for a long time, but it is still something I'd like to eventually get out.
Oh, okay. Still an iron in the fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had just so you know, I had a great dream today. You would hate me.
Uh-oh.
God, it was so good. It was so good. Just so much story potential. It's insane. I'll tell you about it later.
Al dreams in like HD, and he has these like awesome story ideas. Never does a damn thing with them, so I don't know why he gets to have these kinds of dreams.
I have some notes. I have some things written down.
Some notes.
Yeah, so basically a little memory, so I can remember certain visions and ideas. This one today was just it was a quick because I was it today or yesterday? Oh well, whatever. But anyway, it was like a really quick idea with just a really cool kind of a concept that was going to happen, but I didn't get to dream the whole thing. But it was so vivid it stuck.
Yeah. You've got a battle cry, Al. Now that's become your tagline.
What, knuckle butt?
Knuckle butt. Everybody.
Well, I had one prepared for Saturday night if we ever to get up there, but I never used it. Well, I told you what it was, but we never had a chance to use it.
Oh, you did use it, but no one could hear you, so it didn't matter.
No one could hear it.
Yeah. Well, we'll bring that back again Saturday. I'll even though StreamYards works and we don't have any mystery of it, I'll still say, "Can everybody hear Al?" And then you can give them your little word or phrase, rather.
Yeah. For some reason, knuckle, all the weird little things are now associated with me. Corn dogs, knuckle butt, centaurs.
Um, I don't know if you're still there, Pablo Romero, in the chat, but last night I forgot to tell you. I don't know if you caught the stream that we did last night, but I was showing them the Keyoung Lee art reveals on Tales from the Stacks, and was talking a little bit about Fallen with Thrisis, and I actually showed them because you can do the screen shares and stuff like that. I went through and showed them the first few pages of Maneater on the website that it's on. So if I remember, I think I dropped the link too.
Yeah.
So really good stuff. Everybody loved that.
Oh, here she comes. She's a man-eater. Oh, sorry.
I bet you know what? I bet you he's never ever heard that, Al. So that's really cool that you know.
Oh, I'm sure he has.
You made that joke.
But I will do it again.
Oh, Margie, they're talking about they want Lord of the Rings from your rewatch, Al. So yeah, make it all Saturday long.
Oh man, that would be maybe not for that anytime soon, but that would be awesome, like for a snowy day.
Yeah. Oh, I did see that the Tolkien movie about his history and past or whatever thing. I think that's on Amazon Prime or is available to rent now or something. It's out. I'm gonna watch it. I've heard bad things about it though. Actually, I still want to watch it and see it for myself. I just missed it in the theater, so that's something.
Exactly, generally knuckle dogs.
Knuckle dogs. Oh no, that's just no.
That's a big L special corn dog. It's a knuckle dog.
Thank you.
I'm going to be feasted on the knuckle dog.
I need to play with this StreamYard some more because I have the So I have this. Are you still there, Al?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, so I can play with this. I can take you on and off screen, and I've got there's my overlay. So whenever I'm doing this by myself or for office hours, I had this one up, but it looks weird when I do the when I bring Al in, you can't see all of that. So I think I'm going to play with so I'm going to take that off. But there's this layout here, which makes us small, and I can put things in the background. So I think I'm going to put, back Tales from the Stacks or something down here for tomorrow night, and maybe I'll put office hours up here in a banner or something like that. So, because I can do that with background stuff. So that's pretty cool. I got to figure out how to get you an avatar or something, so you're not just a boob.
Yeah.
Loved it on your live stream with Mara the other night, and you because I said when we were on Fan Man tonight, he didn't have his camera on either, so I was right there in the middle, and I was in the middle, and I said I was like my head is between two boobs, and then that stuck in your mind, and Mara was like, "Oh, or it could be eyes." I was like, "Nope, they said boobs. It's never going back from boobs." That's good.
Baby boots.
Just leave me hanging. Just let me laugh at my own joke and just leave silence. That's great. Good co-hosting.
Well, I'll laugh if it was funny.
Wow. I want to Ed McMahon. Ha ha! Yes.
Hi-oh.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm laughing at my own jokes, and we're just leaving radio silence. I think it's about time to call this one, bring it down. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll have material prepped, and we'll be ready to roll for a while for the office hours live stream. But
you'll have material prepped. I go in cold every time.
Oh, Mr. Improv. Yeah. So maybe if I can get that video done with Steven Cruz's music that he set your misquoted phrase to, I'll try and get that done. Maybe we can reveal that tomorrow. That'll be fun.
Oh, dear God.
It'll be fun. But yeah, so we want to have a good episode of Office Hours tomorrow. So I better shut this one on down so I can get some work done and prep and everything like that, because I have another full day with my princess tomorrow, which means it's a great day with my princess, but it means no work gets done. She's on the couch too. She doesn't like it when you sleep next to her either, because we were on the couch today watching TV or something like that, and I was so exhausted I just kind of nodded off a little bit, and all of a sudden she just smacks me in the gut and goes, "Wake up, Daddy!" So terrible.
Oh yeah, she's good for your psyche.
Wake up, no more. So
sleep no more.
The chat wants 21 minutes. I just don't have it in me tonight. I don't have any material. And of
if the chat really wants it, I know how I could drive you absolutely mad right
Nope,
now.
nope, stop. Not doing that. Pixel Trader's here. Pixel Trader, if you haven't back Cover Crashers, I will do this. I'll take a few more moments for this because you got to back Cover Crashers. Let me this is Pixel Trader's Indiegogo campaign. If you've never heard of this, what it is, it's really funny. You know those like Garbage Pail Kids cards and stuff like that. You used to get, the parody stuff. I loved how Garbage Pail Kids would actually they parody different things. But Pixel Trader has a campaign for Cover Crashers that is he's taking the covers of different Comicsgate titles or indie titles or whatever, I don't know, and he's parodying them, and they're so funny. I'll show you his campaign page with some of them. If I can there we go. All right, so it should be there. Yeah, Cover Crashers. This is his campaign, which you can find on Indiegogo. Just type Cover Crashers as there it is as the search term. But really good tier levels. But so Cover Crash, so Bigfoot Bill is Big Mouth Bill. As you see there for Doug and his big mouth. I think it was Doug's even idea to say that to make it Big Mouth Bill. Red Rooster is Red Rooters. These are some of the titles. He'll have the whole cards though with the images and everything. Some of them are hilarious. Graveyard Shift is Graveyard Shit. And this is the funniest one. Brutus is the funniest one.
I like Clone Star.
Clone Star is great. He showed I don't know. Is Clone Star revealed on here? Because I don't want to say what it is if no, it's not revealed. So I won't say what it is, but Clone Star is hilarious. Unless Pixel says I can in the chat. But here's Brutus. He shows a picture of Brutus because when Nasser was having and Donald DeLay were, kind of having it out on Twitter there, Nasser was supposed to be partner on Brutus. And so Nasser decided that he was going to sell his half of Brutus because Donald was saying that, nope, it's no longer a partner. It's just mine. And so Brutus is now Brutus. It was Brutus the badass, but now it's Brutus the half-ass. So he's got taping it back together, and one side of it is for sale with a knife in the back, and everything. It's in a time like this in the movement, it's good to be able to laugh at ourselves. So I like that. I think it's a great campaign. I definitely backed it myself. You can get the set. A complete set's only $10. I mean, that's how great is that? But you can get like the metal sets and some other things like that if you want to. So there are other options.
The Berserker Nut.
Berserker Nut, Lunch Line instead of Punchline by Matt Weldon and I forget the writer's name, like an idiot. Lawbreakers. Logo pending, that's for Jawbreakers. And Critical Snail, I think, I'm not looking at the comments right now, so Pixel's probably already answering me and stuff like that, but Critical Snail is Pixel's comic, I think, that he was going to do possibly after this, if I understand that correctly. But there's more to come. That's not all of them that are there, so,
Yeah, he hasn't said anything, by the way, just so you know.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, just wanted to pimp that for him there. And I'm back now. Let me get this back in here. Actually moved a tab where I didn't want it. Okay, all better. All right, so Squids McCracken said just change the nappy, but in a manly way. All right, Squids McCracken is from down under, so nappy is a diaper. There's I've changed my diaper. No, how manly can you be when you're screaming, crying because you hate changing diapers? Though that's my struggle.
Are we sure it's Australia? Because they say that in England too.
Well, he's told me. I think he said on the chat before he's from Australia. I think.
Oh, he is Australia. Oh, okay. Sorry, Squids.
Pablo says I have some Garbage Pail Kids stickers on my wall. It was called Bessaritas here. Oh, Bessarita. Oh, yes, right. Yeah. What country? I keep forgetting, Pablo. I know that you're South America, right? What or maybe I'm an idiot and I'm wrong. Tell me what country you're from again. Because I remember you were. I'm trying to find Troy. When Troy sends me stuff, he'll include like little goodies, and he included some Garbage Pail Kids. This is Frankenstein. Let's see, get it focus. Doesn't focus. Alive. This Alive Alvin. This was the modern horror of what's that one's name? Happy Death Dave, for Happy Death Day. There you go. That's a good. There you got it. Focus. And then there's Deadly Donnie from Donnie Darko. Yeah, fun. I think I had a couple more or whatever, but I remember those. I remember these and Mad Balls and all the things that were cool because your parents thought they were gross, so you thought they were,
Yeah.
so cool to have.
Yeah, it doesn't having something your parents absolutely are disgusted by just make it that much better.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. Pixel Trader says, yes, Critical Snail is his book and upcoming tabletop game. Okay, cool. Cool. And
Pablo from Argentina.
yeah, probably. Yeah, I knew it was South America, but I couldn't remember exactly. Part of me wanted to say Brazil, but yes. Yeah, Argentina. Okay. So, yep. I did buy Alyssa where is it? I think it's here somewhere. They have these toys are so stupid and weird for kids nowadays. They're just ridiculous. There's a whole brand of cute poop toys. They're called Poopsies. And it's like the poop emoji, but they're like all cutesied up and like they're different colors and they'll have a little bow in there. I don't even know. That's not even like trying to be gross. That's taking something that's legit gross and then trying to make it cute. I don't even know what's going on with that. But they also have these. One of the big things that are popular now are squishy, like items of food. Like you can get, like Alyssa likes to go get like it looks like a thing of popcorn, but it's just like a stress ball kind of thing. It's just a squishy thing or whatever. But she picked out one the other day, which she had to have, which was an eyeball, like a big eyeball with the bloody veins and everything. It was like a mad ball from back in the day.
Awesome.
I thought I had it in here somewhere. But I don't know. Can't find it.
I was like, remember Night Court when the judge would go bowling and he had the big he had the big eyeball bowling ball.
Yeah.
I love that.
Speaking of, he's our adult Richie in the It miniseries. A lot of people don't realize what a crazy, amazing cast that has. You've got Harry Anderson is adult Richie, John Ritter is adult Ben, Annette O'Toole.
Bless both their souls.
Yeah, Annette O'Toole is Beverly Marsh. John Boy, not Earl Hamner. He was the real John Boy. The actor who played John Boy is Bill.
Jeez.
I can't remember. But
keep going.
Audra, who plays Bill's wife, she's a known actress. But yeah, and then the kids, you've got I'm blanking on all kinds of names. But Seth Green was the child Richie. And what was his name? Who played young Bill? He was a really good actor. He tragically killed himself before he was too old. He was on Sequest. Brian.
I am not. I am just like, I'm too tired. Don't think of a name right now.
I'm exhausted too. So we'll figure it out. But all right. So, Muhammad said, "Are you ever going to make action figures based on your work?" I would love to. I was looking today.
Richard Thomas was Bill.
Richard Thomas. Yeah, that was it. There's a really cool campaign I just saw today.
And Audra was Olivia Hussey. How could we
Olivia Hussey? Yeah, I knew it was. I just couldn't. I'm so tired and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I want to show this because I think it's really cool. If I can find it real quick, and then I'll go ahead and wrap this sucker up. But there's a campaign I looked at today that actually has action figures, which I thought was so cool. All right, I found it. Let me get the link now.
Yeah, yours. I tell you, yours would have some excellent action figure potential.
The Fall of Mithrisis.
Well, both actually, but Tales from the Stacks because I'm more familiar with the visuals on that.
Yeah, well, it's here's the thing I was thinking. So I saw, and I don't know, I've just kind of met Carl in a chat room. I haven't even talked to him yet. Carl O'Rowe, he's from Dublin, Ireland, actually. Maybe I'll have him on Son of Comic Skate Live. Seems like a really cool guy, and this comic looks really, really cool. I'm definitely going to back it myself here tonight. But I was looking at it, and one of the, because if you're going to do action figure, you kind of have to charge quite a bit because they're expensive to do, So Deathsworn book 1 is what it is. Really love the art, love the look of this. Looks like a really cool genre book that I'd really be behind. So I'm definitely backing it for the book. I'll show you some of the art and everything. I love the swashbuckling, the axe, the hot women and all this kind of stuff. It looks very like science fiction, sword and sorcery. Really cool. There's some of the art. Great stuff. And then there's the
solar vampires are taking over the galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, such a cool idea and concept. And look at that. That's just such cool imagery. That's straight out of the 80s. I love that. Great stuff. And Where is it? This one in my. There's lots of art here available. Oh yeah, this was the part I loved. You see the jeweled foot, and then all of the harem there around this wicked guy or whatever. So thought that was cool.
Ooh, nice fighters. I like that.
Yeah. So, but you look at the tiers, and one of them, this one is the one $301 if you want the action figures there, and he's got pictures down here of them. I think I looked at it on my phone, so it's kind of, yeah, there they are. And I love the way he did the action figures like they were old He-Man characters. That is so freaking cool. But here's the thing. I kind of feel like if someone's going to drop $301 for an action figure of your book, they kind of have to know you already, you know? They kind of have to know who you are and kind of know your work. It kind of already has to be in the ether out there, you know, a little bit. So maybe, you know, in this, I think the campaign just started, you know, so if he does a good job promoting it and everything like that, I hope he, you know, gets a lot of these purchased. But so thinking about like when I would do, like I could see maybe by the time I did the campaign for Tales from the Stacks Volume 2, then offering some action figures because people kind of already know the characters, or by the time I do issue 2 of Fall of Mithrisis or something, then maybe offering some action figures. I just don't know how many people would buy action figures, would pay that much of a price for an action figure for a brand new property, brand new characters, and, you know,
Right, yeah.
brand new creator, you know. So but a really cool book. I mean, this is another one. It's called Deathsworn Book 1. So I'm definitely gonna be backing this later tonight here as well. So very cool. Go back to the chat. Yeah, Pablo Romero has a retro wave vibe, and Pablo knows all about that. He does that really, really well too. Well, it's 300. It is a lot, Mara, but there's other things you get for it. I didn't really show the tier. Let me show you. It's not just for the figures. You get a sketch card, the book, the ash can, the figure, two of the figures, and some original art. So for all that, I mean, 300 is not bad. I mean, you could get
it's actually, I mean, it's reasonable.
Yeah, it is reasonable
for something like that.
But not everybody who just wants the action figures is going to want to pay for all that other stuff, though. You know, that's the thing.
Yeah. I mean, considering the action, if I was reading right, the action figure is they're hand sculpted and hand painted, and
yeah. And this is Von Klaus's endorsement of the campaign. Of course, Von Klaus from Monster MD, really cool. I need to have some of these people. So for Son of Comicsgate Live this week, we're going to have Brendan Kemp's coming back on to talk about the relaunch of Dusty Tortillas, which is cool. And I need to figure out a couple more guests or whatever, because now that I've got StreamYard, you can only have up to 6 people on the stream. It's not like Hangouts where you could have, like, you know, up to 10 or something, you know. So I need to see who wants to come on. He's going to come on. I mean, Kyung and Ishii are usually always there. I need to find out, you know, definites from some new creators as well to get on there and stuff like that. So I'll plan all that out. But really cool. So yeah, Deathsworn actually has a synthwave song as well. Oh, cool. Pixel said it has a song. He had an artist named Vosto create a song for the book. That's so freaking cool. That really is cool. Yeah, I'll have to get in touch with him, see if he wants to come on board at some point, you know, to the show. But yep. All right. So I'm off.
You should try to have like someone sing that song from, I don't want to say, because like I said, it's part
of the song that Evelyn sings at one point. Yeah. Well, that's actually, I didn't write that song. That's Gabrielle Rossetti. That's a poem, which was really perfect for the subject matter and for the scene and everything that's going on in Discovering Evelyn. But yeah, I mean, that would be cool to write some original music, because it's an old classic poem. It's public domain and everything. So to write some classic, you know, original music and have somebody sing it, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, very cool. All right, well, that's it for now. We'll be back tomorrow at 11 p.m. EST for office hours and get to talk about all the craziness that's going on in geekdom right now, and get to up to our usual shenanigans and antics and horribly misquoted phrases and all kinds of good stuff. But thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for the book study. Thanks for popping in later and just hanging out with us as well. And yeah, anything you want to promote or talk about before tomorrow,
Al? No, just my normal stuff is out there. everybody knows.
Yeah. Oh, I keep forgetting because you have to there's no way to just set up automatic description content to go on when you stream on StreamYard. So do check out Big Al Presents. Do a search for it in YouTube. That's his channel. He's looking for some more subs. I'm looking for more subs too. I need to grow this so I can eventually do the membership thing. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do, and share it around or whatever. And then Big Al has those Facebook pages. All of them are facebook.com/iconic Batman, iconic Universal Monsters.
It's monsters and maidens and monsters, but it has a different maiden and the
The
monster.
Euros / Maiden and the Monster, yeah. And then you've got Big Al for Viewrama and all that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They're in my old videos. You can go find those. So that's it right now. Yep. And we will see you guys tomorrow. Until then, keep enjoying and digging deeper into the hero stories you love. Thanks for watching.
Time for a knuckle dog.
You had that one ready.
I had to say something.